stunning turn of events here this evening. All of it happening in less than a minute at this jewelry store right next to me near 26th in Springfield. Now, it is a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man who have died from their injuries in this armed robbery. Now, we have exclusive surveillance video from a business on this street that caught the entire incident. We'll see that where you can see a Blackhawks hoodie. That is what the man is wearing as he pursues the business. He goes inside around 5:45 this evening, and then within about 30 seconds, the offender runs outside with some merchandise from the store as two men quickly ran out after him. The altercation continued in the middle of the street with oncoming traffic, and then right near the corner of Springfield, the offender pulls out his gun and shoots both victims. That is where we have frozen the video before the shots were fired in between multiple vehicles in the area. Now, those two men were quickly rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital. They were pronounced dead there. The offender left the area in a white SUV heading southbound on Springfield Avenue. CPD has been on scene for the last 4 hours taking in evidence at this business. There are a lot of surveillance cameras in this area. Police tell us no one else was hurt by those gunshots that were fired off in the middle of the street. Now, this jewelry store here near 26 in Springfield appears to be closed now. It does appear that the two victims who were shot and killed in this armed robbery were employees at this business. Police tell us at this time no one is in custody.
Of course, no one is in custody. Now, I'm conflicted about this. And let me tell you why I'm conflicted about this whole situation. Because on one hand, the preservation of life is important. You live to fight another day. You live to go and take care of business. And you live to go ahead and take care of your children, right? Stuff can be replaced. Things can be replaced, right? Even if, something happens to your business or whatever, you never, ever, 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 if you can prevent it, put yourself in a dangerous situation where somebody can take your life, right? Now, the conflicting part is that this was their stuff. You know what I'm saying? This is their jewelry store. This was an armed robbery. It's a situation. And, we have a situation in Chicago where the mayor is completely incompetent. He's disabled the police and the police chief. He thinks that community policing, basically, negotiating with criminals is going to stop it. And so these people are getting more and more brazen, and they walk into these stores and they tearing up. And we've largely kind of forgotten about Chicago because we've been so focused on the government shutdown and everything else that's been happening in society. But the reality is that, this is unfortunate because it could have been prevented on both sides, and you could have went home to your children at the end of the night. But I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to side with criminals. And I think that these people should be locked under the jail. I don't think this is a situation that's going to be self-defense. But on the flip side, it may be considered a self-defense situation, because if the guy was running away and walking away and you was chasing him and then he wound up killing somebody, which I don't think that he should have been able to get away. And let's be very, very clear. I'm saying that you as an individual, you have to make sure that you preserve yourself so that you'll have another opportunity to be able to live, and make it all right the next day, or to go after the guy the next day. Business owners is fed up, especially in Chicago. I know a couple different people that own businesses in Chicago that says that they are looking to just completely leave and maybe go and find greener pastures, or even go and get a regular job in another state because they are sick and tired of what they have to deal with in the city. No business owner should even have to put themselves in a position to have to do this in the first place, to defend themselves, to know that the police officers is not going to respond, that even if they catch this guy, they probably won't prosecute him, all of that type of stuff. And so that's where the conflicting situations come, the conflicting sentiment comes, because there is no real protection for business owners. But I think that this guy was crazy for going after a guy and running after him with no way to protect themselves. And I'm assuming that they didn't have any protection, or they didn't have a gun, or they didn't have anything to stop this guy from doing something negative to him. And this is one of the situations where you're woefully underprepared, and the criminal, you probably was not expecting for this guy to be able to pull out a gun and take one of y'all lives, or take both of their lives in this situation. So it's a sad, sad, sad state of affairs. And I just think that it's the culture. It's our criminal element and culture that is taking place in a lot of these liberal cities that now you got two people are dead that were working people that took care of business, that didn't do anything wrong to anybody. Somebody comes in there and they robs them. I'm assuming that they didn't think that he really had a real gun, or maybe they didn't think that he had any ammunition or something like that. Or maybe they've been robbed before and they was just frustrated at the fact that they don't get any kind of help in the city. And so this is what caused them to go after this guy. And now, they'll never ever see their families again. This is unfortunate. Very, very bad situation. And I wouldn't wish this on anybody, especially a business owner that's taking care of business.
Police are still investigating the slaying of two men outside a Little Village jewelry store. It appears the attack happened during an armed robbery and was captured by a nearby security camera. Now, it all unfolded around 5:45 Saturday night near 26th and Springfield. Surveillance video from a nearby business shows some of the violence that unfolded. You see a man in a Blackhawks hoodie and mask walk up to the jewelry store. Then, about 30 seconds later, the offender runs out of the jewelry store with some merchandise as two men from inside the store chase after him. An altercation continues in the middle of the street in oncoming traffic, but it was as the offender tries to get away that he pulls out a gun and shoots both of the victims. He froze in the video before shots were fired. Now, the two victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man, were shot multiple times and were both rushed to an area hospital where they died. Individuals, or should I say, the investigators say that the gunman fled the scene in a white SUV heading southbound on Springfield Avenue. Now, police say that no one else was hurt during this incident. Crime Stoppers is now offering a reward up to $10,000 for
$10,000 to try to catch the person that killed two people that owned and operated a jewelry store. And that's the end of their story. And nobody is going, they probably will never catch this guy, to be honest with you. They'll probably never catch this guy. He gets out of his car or he walks across the street, puts a mask on. He has I'm pretty sure it's people that know who this is. There are people that know who the culprit is that committed these heinous crimes. And, now he got a robbery on his record and possibly, a murder on his record. But who's to say that he's ever even brought to justice for us to have this conversation? Those people that ran out that was defending their stores, that's justified in defending their stores, apparently they didn't have any street sense, or they was just so frustrated that they decided to go after this guy. And if it was an armed robbery, why would you go after a guy and you don't even have a pistol or a gun to help you? It looked like the older guy he looked like he had a suit on. Looks like he was going out there because the other guy had went out there. And so maybe he was going to help protect the other guy that went after the criminal. And so he became also collateral damage from the situation. It's very unfortunate. You can't have any businesses. A lot of people are apprehensive of having brick and mortar stores in environments or in areas like this. I've had brick and mortar stores before, and thank God I've never had a situation where I got robbed or anything like that, or none of my employees was like that. But I tried to create an environment where it didn't have the big glass on it and stuff like that. And now, I would never do that. I would never put any of my employees in that type of situation because it's just too bad out here. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Prayers up for the family. And hopefully we start to get more visibility on these people that are doing the worst things inside of our communities. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.